I wanted to talk about relates to kind of into, that cyber area as well. In fact, it relates very, very much to that cyber area. And part of the supervision guidelines is that you need to, from a fraud prevention perspective, that every agent is required when signing, if they are signing an agency agreement, to get identification and confirmation of ownership when they are signing an agency agreement from the owners of the property, be they an individual, multiple people, companies, trusts, however that is set up, you need to have identification in there. Now, the requirement when you look at the set form, now you don't have to use a set form, you can use your own form, but why would you when Fair Trading have invented it for you? Download their fraud prevention guideline form off their website and use that. Really simple. There's 3 sections to it. The first one is photo ID. The second one is some additional points of ID. So, they come down into, driver's license and Medicare cards and I don't know anyone who's got one, but, bank passbooks and, so a whole range of different electoral roll documentation. And the third section of that form, or those requirements, under the fraud prevention guidelines are the proof of ownership. So, there's obviously, your title searches, there's your, the best one is your rates notice. Sometimes it's the front page of a contract if someone's just purchased. There's your 3 requirements. Now, there are some fabulous online systems that assist agents in making sure they get all of the right documentation and they get the asbestos questionnaires done when they're needed and they get the material fact questionnaires done when they're needed and they make sure that they issue out for a sale of a residential property, they're issuing out the consumer education guide for agency agreements, all of those sorts of things. So they're making sure that, it's a perfect, they are fabulous systems, but some of them actually make the owners of the property upload their identification. So upload their driver's license, upload, whatever the other points of identification are and evidence of ownership of the property are. Now, you are only required to cite these documents. Not keep, but cite. Now, okay, so if you're using one of these software systems, you can't override that part of the system in some of them, but you do have the capacity in those systems to then delete it. So check it, cite it, delete it. So you've got to make a decision here as an agency. If you're using one of those systems, then, do you view it once it comes through on that electronic system, sign off that you viewed it and then delete it? Do you store it securely so only certain people within your office have access to that? So if you're using a SharePoint or folders with password security on them, or however your system is set up. You need to make that about whether you secure it, you destroy it, but either way, whatever the process is that you put in place, where does it go? I hear you ask. Of course it goes into your policy and procedures manual. This is about what you do in your office. So whatever it is, whatever process it is that you decide to choose to adopt to meet your legislative requirements of the fraud prevention checklist, then that needs to be written into your policy and procedures manual. So that's going to be different for everybody on whether you use the form and you're doing it old school and going, yep, show me your driver's license, show me this, show me that, tick, 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 sign, initial, done, and that's the agent's job, or whether you're using an electronic system and it's all being uploaded and how you do that. So make your decision, put it into your policies and procedures manual, then make sure it happens. So, that's just taking that fraud prevention, because again, do you want to be, if you are scammed in some way, and with all the cyber issues that are out there at the moment, and we're all talking about it in our compulsory CPD this year, so, it gets a little bit frightening, and, we as trainers are talking it, a couple of times a week, this cyber security, and, we all come out and go, oh my, it's mind-blowing what can go wrong. So, and again, you look at that, the current Optus issue, and it is mind-blowing what can go wrong. Do you want to be keeping people's information on your system? Personally, I would say no. But you as an agency need to make that decision and then follow whatever process it is you are doing to make sure that that data is secure. So, guys, think about that when you're thinking about your policies and procedures and your fraud prevention and your cybersecurity issues.